Welcome back to the Writer's Room. On today's episode, we are talking about The Magnificent Seven.
Put the guns down.
Cowboys.
And cow people.
Welcome back to the Writer's Room. Today we are talking about Magnificent Seven here on the show. I'm one of your hosts, Katie.
And I'm Michael.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Crisalia.
And we're coming to you from HollywoodRedux.com, where this month we're celebrating HRVR, which is Hollywood Redux Virtual Reality Month. Be sure to check out all of our virtual reality gameplays and fun behind-the-scenes looks at exclusive games for the HTC Vive. Only on HollywoodRedux.com. But today,
Hashtag HRVR.
hashtag HRVR. Yeah, if you use that hashtag, if you have any gameplay or anything like that, our guys at IGL will retweet your stuff. So be sure to tag them and use the hashtag HRVR
that's right.
for any of your fun gameplay videos.
Yeah, if you use it, we'll help you out.
We'll share it.
Yeah.
But today we're talking about The Magnificent Seven.
Yes, directed by Anton Fuqua. It's based on it's a redo of an old western.
Good old remake.
Yeah, it's a pretty classic story. When a robber baron invades a town in the Old West, one town person goes in search of help and finds Denzel Washington's Sam Chisholm, and then he assembles the Magnificent Seven, and they take on the robber
The Western
baron's
Avengers.
army. And
Pretty
it's
much,
just
man.
like one really killer gunslinging scene
After
Yeah,
another.
after another.
For-
Either a badass shot of like a dozen horses with dudes riding going like 60 miles an hour or some
Shot of
shit.
Denzel silhouette, like
Yeah.
against the sunset. Just,
Awesome one-liners. Like, this movie is
It had it all,
freaking
guys.
fun, man.
Yeah, seriously.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It held my interest, I'll say that, you know?
Honestly, I was, I saw the original when I was a kid, so I didn't really remember much. So it was
Which
kind
is
of a fresh
classic and
movie
really good.
for me. Minus the theme, which they played at the end in the credits and things like that. Oh, also, if you've never seen one of our reviews, we do sometimes spoil it. We'll try our best not to, but sometimes it just kind of happens. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, don't get spoiled. Go
watch
see
it.
it. Come
Go
back
watch it.
and watch this again. Check out some of our other reviews if you haven't, and if you've seen those movies.
Yeah.
We won't ruin it
Worth
for
the
you.
watch.
But yeah, so I mean, at the end they play the theme from the original and things like that, which is also used in the Beef It's What's for Dinner commercials.
Oh my gosh.
Dun, 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 dun. Hopefully we don't have to pay for that.
It was less than 10 seconds, right?
But man, this was a fun movie though. Like,
Yep.
where the original was a little bit more serious, this played a lot more, kind of on the comical side.
Yeah.
But like, man, some of the action sequences in this were some of the best I've ever seen in Western, especially like the finale, the grand finale shootout.
Yeah.
Like entire like third act of the movie was like one of the like
So
greatest
good.
like
Yeah.
it may be one of the best Western shootouts like ever. Like very well shot.
So many
dramatic.
people falling off of so many horses.
Yeah, like because when people died in that, people fucking died. Like they were
That
like
shit just
Ethan Hawke.
ended.
Spoiler: Ethan Hawke. Holy shit.
That was
He didn't
great.
just die. He got lit up, fucking flew through a wall, rolled down the side of the church, fell 3 stories,
Double
and then like
died.
they just like left his body there, even to the end credits. I was like, I was doing that big long like pull out shot, and I was like, is his body still there? And then it was, but it was like in a clear spot where there's no way he fell off and rolled down that roof.
riddled with huge holes, though.
Yeah, I mean, God, the Gatling gun was
Yeah.
Yeah.
monster.
Well, I was going to say, at one point, Denzel Washington and his horse, like, straight up stomped
Yeah.
a bad guy.
Yeah,
intense.
that was one of the coolest things ever. Like I remember watching it. Like this movie. First of all, like we're not talking about the story or anything right here. This is a horrible review. But like this movie had so much fun with the action sequences. Like even in the beginning when we meet some of the characters, like the fast shooting that's going on, and like those guys really had to be trained with those guns. I mean, they were legit like able to spin. I don't think Denzel ever really got angry until the end of the movie. He played it like totally mellow the whole time.
He was kind
Which
of
was
a
great.
new John Wayne.
I think it's
A little bit.
It's
was
like
awesome.
his
He had a
first
John Wayne
Western
thing going.
film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was like a somewhat more emotional John Wayne.
Yeah, well, I mean, so he had emotion. Sorry, Duke. But yeah, no, I mean, Denzel is the man. Denzel can fucking
He's totally a cowboy.
destroy
man,
any
no matter
role.
what. Yeah, seriously.
yeah.
He's
Yeah,
badass.
pick it up, pick it up. Oh man, no, but he was great. The movie had a lot of like great just moments with these characters. Like you got to actually enjoy moments with like even the side characters, like when Chris Pratt's trying to get the guy's whiskey. He's like, I'll give you a couple of, you know, gun lessons and things like that. That was a really cool scene. And you still got to see that he's a villain. You know, he's still a bad guy.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said about the characters, because for a movie being with so many characters, you actually got time to spend with each one. Like, you actually felt like you got a moment to know this character and that character and knew enough about him to, okay, this is a good setup.
Even ones that didn't talk that much.
Exactly.
You know, like I mean, you got plenty of stuff.
Don't do that nowadays, especially when it's a big group movie. You don't get enough with the characters themselves.
Yeah, and you also got to meet a lot of the townspeople that they were going to, like, you know, save the day for. You know, it was like
felt for both.
Yeah, when they died, like my boy Griff first. Gotta say, you killed it. You survived. So glad to see you make it out. I was like beginning to end. Griff first. Bookended that movie. So. Good for you, man. Awesome.
I love the beginning when Bart came out and just walked up into the church and took it over and just like burned it down and then shot down.
No
Matt
Bomer.
Matt Bomer just down. Sorry.
Who just was like, "Why would you do that?" You know why? Bam!
Oh,
Everybody's dead.
That bad guy. That's
why.
Bartholomew Bogue, played by Peter Sarsgaard.
Sarsgaard, yeah.
So twisted.
He's a good villain.
Transformed his whole person in a really like a crooked man sort of a really physical performance, I thought.
Yeah, I felt like the inciting event for this movie, which was the whole scene that you just described, like, I felt he was more evil there. That was my only, like, kind of gripe with it. I felt he was more evil there than at the end. And I get it. He's got a lot of money. He can just sit back on the hill and let everybody do it. But, like, I don't know. I didn't really like the end to that as much. I thought he kind of just fizzled out when it came to his evilness. Maybe he just peaked in evilness. And they had to draw it back a little bit. But, you know, I mean, you burned down a church and, like, I mean, man, yeah. No, he was a good villain, though. He plays a good villain.
Yeah.
But,
Dark.
The score was actually...
His performance was great. I wish the... sorry.
No, please.
I feel like maybe for me, his performance was great, and he was maybe just a slightest bit underwritten, especially in the latter half
probably.
of the
maybe
film.
that's what it was.
That's what I think. Sorry to interrupt.
And, like, and
No.
James Horner, and I can't remember who else did the score with James Horner. The credit went by very fast, and I should have done my research for this review, but I didn't. So, James Horner and the other person did a great job. Did a great job with the score.
Fantastic.
I was reading that James Horner was so inspired by the script that he actually, before he passed away, he actually completed the score for them. And his team delivered the score to the director on set.
That's wild.
Which was really cool.
That's pretty cool.
That's what a great gift, I think. Like,
That's great.
James Horner, you're the man, dude.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
But I mean, back on a lighter note, the characters are great. I thought like everybody did a great job. Nobody overplayed it too much. Like I thought, like
It
I
was well balanced. For sure.
I was worried that maybe they were going to put too much comedy on Chris Pratt, and you know he would just been the slapsticky guy. But like it was just enough balance of comedy and like seriousness for all the characters. Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh my God.
Had to. It was like a great weekend, you know, for him. I feel he had just so much fun on that movie. He had to have.
I had fun watching him in that movie.
Yeah.
He just mumbled and just.
I'm so glad that he's back to playing bizarre characters.
Yeah.
Because it seems like he took a break for a while, but now
He went a
he's-
more serious route a little while.
Like
and
he was so weird. Please explore that video,
yeah.
I think that
especially in this role. He had that whole voice going. He had
Which was great, dude. Oh my
it was
God.
like a
I
very
loved his whole
like,
character.
I think that bear is wearing human clothes.
Yeah, yeah. There was so much fun. There was a lot of great one-liners. You know, like when Goodnight's trying to run out in the night. You know, and
Even Hobbs'
Denzel's
character.
trying to stop him, and he's just like, you know, the war's over, man. The war's over. He's like, everything's burned down. He's like, what we lost in the fire, we'll pick up in the ashes. You know, we'll find in the ashes.
Yeah.
That was a badass line, man.
That was deep.
And Denzel just saying that, like, kind of like whispering it to him. I was just like, shit, man. And he had like
Deep.
tears in his eyes, and he actually looked like he was crying when he walked out of that scene.
Yeah.
That was really deep. It's pretty
It
cool.
was- it's
I
pretty
feel
good.
like everybody was having fun, but Denzel was the one who was like, this is serious as hell. And like, you could tell that, I mean, and we joked about it afterwards, his black suit, there had to have been some dude on set the whole time who just had to run out there with like lint rollers the whole time and be like, oh my God, there's sticks of dirt on Denzel.
There was like at least one personnel on set, like on set duster,
Yeah.
who was like assigned to. make
Denzel
sure,
has
like,
a
just
speck of dirt
constantly-
on his black suit
Just, like,
that is
brushing-
flawless the entire movie. Yeah. No, it's great, you know. But he was great. You know, he played it very serious. I like that part because he kept everybody else really grounded. And none of these guys, even though they were the heroes of the film, were like good guys.
Yeah.
They had all
Yeah.
killed many people.
Yeah.
many different ways.
They had to survive.
But yeah. That's just the way it was,
I feel
man.
like they all had, like, on the scale of, like, the moral compass, they were all, like, in the end, kind of, like, do-gooders. But they were all, like, rough around the edges.
Well, they said, you know, like, I think Vincent
Diving in the
D'Onofrio's
rough,
character said, like, I think doing something for people, like, if I'm going to die, like, serving somebody else, there's no other way I'd rather go out. And it's exactly what he did. He defended that kid. He died defending that kid. You know, he walked out, and the kid basically almost did like a Saving Private Ryan, where he's too scared to like get up the steps. Yeah. And like he had a gun sitting on the floor right in front of him, and he didn't pick it up and shoot that dude who ended up, you know, putting a bunch of arrows in him. Yeah. But man, like the deaths in this were, like you felt them because you cared about the characters. There were stakes because they built up enough good character development. You know, more for the male characters than the female characters, which kind of sucks because she had a great, you know, couple of scenes where she's like a marksman with the rifle, and you know she could have played a better part.
Yeah, well, you know, I think the problem with that character is just that all the male characters had really idiosyncratic stories and personalities that were each very unique, and her story was simply just that violence that had been enacted on her by this person, by this guy, and then also like defined by her grief over a man. So it's like she didn't have like that whole personality and story that was her own. It was
for
all
sure.
about this other thing. So that's where it's like kind of a less interesting, I guess.
Yeah, I did like she was the one who took out Bart at the end.
Yeah, but I mean, she had a lot to do in the story, and she was really well acted by that actress.
Fantastic.
Yeah, well portrayed.
Man,
and I like her. I haven't seen her in much, so
crying.
You know.
Yeah, they all like there was not a bad actor in this.
No, well
like,
acted.
Like I said, it was all very well balanced out.
Yeah, the talent was there. You know, there were some characters that were a little underwritten. You know, but besides that, I thought the script was great, a lot of fun. I'd love to see how much was improv by the actors and how much was actually like on the page. You know,
you could tell they all really loved being those characters.
I would love to see the behind the scenes in general.
Yeah,
of that. I can't wait.
God, the stunts in this, like we were talking about that too after the movie. It's like back in the day, they didn't have like the sophisticated rigs and like things that would like protect you on these falls. They were doing it for real, and like these guys, I feel like went for it a little harder. Like the stunt team on this was like, you know what, like some of them probably had grandparents or parents who were stunt people. You know, so like. You know, I'm sure they just went for it. They're like, it's an homage. This is an amazing, like, Western film. And it really is. Like, everything is shot so well. You don't ever lose track of where you are or where somebody is. And, like, you know, if somebody gets shot, like, in the beginning of a sequence, like, you know that they're bleeding out because we keep seeing them check his, you know, wound and things like that. And, like, that was hands down, that was, like, there was two things with Chris Pratt that were my favorite. One was he actually got shot, and it wasn't even him, it was Manuel. And Manuel sees Chris Pratt's character get shot after they've been, you know, kind of that whole, like, resisting the friendship, you know, vibe the whole time. And he comes out and he just pulls out his guns and he starts shooting that guy just nonstop as he's, like, unloading on him. And he just falls right into the casket. And that was, like, the coolest thing I've ever seen. I was like, oh, it's so badass. I actually leaned over to everybody and I was like, that's so cool! I did that a couple times in this movie. But this... Yeah, Ethan Hawke. You know, but the other thing, too, that was really cool that happened with Chris Pratt was the One-Eyed Jack joke when he was clearly at his end. He had just gotten his last stogie lit, and he's like, I've always had luck with One-Eyed Jacks, and throws that at the one-eyed guy. Not only was it a perfect joke, but, like, it was a really cool way to go out. And like I said, like, earlier, like, these guys all died in really cool ways, and, like, and in ways that, like, I felt like the audience, everybody was like, oh, man, these guys can die. Yeah. It's not like I'm watching the Avengers, and they're going to go into this extraordinary thing, and we already know every one of them is going to walk out just fine, except for maybe an ancillary character, you know, like Quicksilver, who's not as good as Evan Peters. But, you know, that's just the way it is, you know? I mean, I like the movie a lot. I actually kind of want to see it again, but, you know, that's my 2 cents. How about you guys?
I thought it was fantastic. It's worth going to see it in the actual theater. Go see it.
Yeah, I wish you're gonna like. You know, I wish my dad lived out here because, like, I would take my dad to see this movie. So, Dad, go see this movie. It is a really good Western. I think you really love it.
Yeah, maybe that's the most important piece of advice is just if you like Westerns, this is a pretty fun Western.
Yeah, especially when we haven't gotten a good Western in a long time. You know, like,
watch
and it's quickly paced. It's not as slow paced.
Yeah, it's a very exciting.
There's
film.
A lot of
it's
comedy.
a Western. Like
It's up tempo for sure. It's very snappy.
It's an adventure. It is definitely an adventure. Like, it is a fun adventure on film. So yeah, so for the Writers Room, that's going to do it for us this week. I am one of your hosts, Matt. You can find me at Splashdown1 on all social media.
I'm Krizali. You can find me at Krizali on all social media.
I'm Katie. I'm at K-Moles.
I'm Michael, and I am at What the Hess.
And we are coming to you from HollywoodRedux.com. Always check out all of our other shows. The IGL podcast is coming up tomorrow here at Hollywood Redux. And it is the last month of HRVR, Hollywood Redux Virtual Reality Month here on our site. So check out their stuff tomorrow. It's the last one. They're doing a little bit of a horror gameplay discussion, talking about, you know, they play later in this week. They're playing a game called The Cubicle on the HTC Vive. It's pretty cool. And then Wednesday, we've got the K-Files. Oh, yeah. Woo! Yeah, K-Files. So, yeah. And then, of course, we've got our HTC Vive gameplay coming to you Thursday. So check out all of our stuff this week. And, hey, you know, not to plug my personal life here, but on Fridays at 9 on Fox, you can see the show that is the reason I look so tired all the time recently. And you can support me. It's called The Exorcist. I am working on The Exorcist for Fox. And this one, too. On Sundays, you can see Last Man on Earth. She is also working on Last Man on Earth. So please check out our shows, support us, and click like. Yeah, let us know what you think of this review down in the comments below. Like, comment, and share, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. If you are just listening, please be sure to check out our YouTube at YouTube.
YouTube.com//
Hollywood Redux. Check us out on YouTube, subscribe, and we'll check you out next week, guys. Thank you so much.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.